Welcome back, my friends. If you think something demonic is in your house, the worst thing you can do is start asking it questions like it's on a paranormal first date, because demons don't need you to believe in them. They need you to respond. One knock, one whisper, one little, "Is anybody here with us?" And congratulations, babe, you may have just opened customer service for the underworld. Today, we're talking about 3 deadly mistakes people make with demonic activity. So let's get into it. Now, y'all know I've been around the paranormal world long enough to say this. Not every bump in the night is demonic. Sometimes a noise is just a noise, or the floor creaks because your house was built during the Great Depression and has unresolved trauma. Now, stay with me, because number 3 is the mistake most people ignore. And by the time they realize it's happening, the whole house already feels different. The dog is staring at the empty corner, nobody's sleeping, and everybody's pretending that weird smell is probably just the pipes. Mistake number 1 is trying to communicate with it. You hear a knock, footsteps, or you see something move, and your brain goes, "Okay, I need answers." No, ma'am, that's not your cue to pull out a Ouija board like, "Dear demon, quick question. Here's what people don't think about. What if you ask it for a sign and you get one?" Don't ask it to knock, move something, to touch a device. Don't say, "Show me a sign," because it just might. And the scary part isn't that the object moved. The scary part is that you asked and it listened. Now it knows you're paying attention. And once it knows that, it can start pushing. First it's a knock, a whisper, footsteps. It starts mimicking your voice, your child's voice, or someone you love. Then everybody in the house is exhausted, angry, paranoid, and scared. And now you're standing in your hallway at 3 o'clock in the morning with one sock on, holding your phone flashlight like it's a tactical plan. It's not. Here's where it gets sneaky. Demonic activity doesn't usually introduce itself as demonic. It doesn't show up wearing a name tag that says, "Hi, my name is Beelzebub and I'll be ruining your sleep schedule." It may pretend to be a child, to be a loved one. It may act helpless, tell you something personal. It may even seem helpful at first. That's how people get spiritually catfished, because demons are not looking for friendship. They're looking for permission. And permission can look like, "Can you knock once for yes? Tell me your name. Show yourself. Touch this device if you're here." If something dark is already in your house, the last thing you need to do is hand it a microphone and say, "Tell us your story." We're not producing a documentary for the demon. We're not letting it build a brand. Now, guaranteed somebody is already typing, "But Nikki, paranormal investigators talk to spirits all the time." Yes, some do, but that doesn't mean everybody should be doing it in their bedroom at midnight because TikTok said, "Try this haunted mirror challenge." Experienced investigators have boundaries, protection methods, protocols, and they know when something feels wrong. And even then, things can go sideways. So if you're not experienced, already scared, and this is happening where you sleep and keep your snacks, don't play paranormal investigator with something that might be demonic. You live there. That changes everything. You don't get to pack up the equipment and leave. You have to sleep there. You have to walk past that hallway at 2:47 in the morning, pretending you're not scared. And baby, I know you're scared. So what do you do if something is already responding? Stop engaging, no questions, EVPs, Ouija boards, pendulums, or spirit box sessions. No provoking. Don't challenge it, mock it, dare it. And please don't say, "You don't scare me," because first of all, yes, it does. Let's not lie in front of the demon. Instead, document without interacting. Write down the date, time, location, who was present, and what happened. Did it happen after an argument, after using a Ouija board, after visiting a haunted location? Did animals start acting weird? Did it get worse after you talked to it? Write it down, but don't feed it. And please rule out normal causes. Check carbon monoxide detectors, check wiring, check plumbing, check for pests, check stress, sleep issues, and mental health. Because we're not calling something demonic when it turns out to be a raccoon named Gary living in the wall. But if you've ruled out normal causes and it feels intelligent, hostile, escalating, and is affecting people in the home, get real help. Someone with experience, someone who's not walking into your living room yelling, "Show yourself," like they're trying to get cast on a ghost hunting show. Because the worst thing you can do is turn your home into a stage for something that already wants attention. Mistake number 1 gives it attention. Mistake number 2 gives it a fight. And if you don't know what you're fighting, that can get ugly fast. Mistake number 2 is trying to fight demonic activity by yourself. And y'all, this one stresses me out. People will have knocking and scratching, growling and shadows, nightmares and sleep paralysis, rotten smells, pets refusing to enter rooms, and kids crying at night. And then they'll say, "So I burned some sage and yelled at it to leave." Girl, no, that's just a vibe with smoke. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone's spiritual practices. Different cultures and religions have different ways of dealing with hauntings and demonic activity. That's not the issue. The issue is when someone has no idea what they're dealing with and they walk into a dangerous situation like they're evicting a bad roommate who owes rent. If this is something truly dark, you may not be removing it. You may be irritating it. And I know that sounds dramatic, but think about it. If something is already trying to scare you, divide your house, and drain your peace, do you really think yelling at it with a bundle of herbs and a shaky flashlight will make it say, you know what, fair enough, I'll leave? No. Everybody wants the quick fix. Burn something, spray something, say one prayer, boom. That's just spiritual Febreze. But darker cases are not always that simple, especially if there's been repeated communication. If somebody used a Ouija board, if something was brought home from a haunted location, if the activity is attached to a person and not just the house, and especially if the family is already worn down. Now here's where I want to be careful. When people hear demonic activity, they jump straight to possession, voice changing, body contorting, somebody crawling backwards up a wall. And listen, if somebody starts crawling backwards up my wall, that's between them, God, and the real estate agent, because guess what? My ass is out. But possession isn't what we're talking about today. That deserves its own video, and yes, I'll be doing a separate video on the 4 stages of possession because those stages need a lot of time. For today, understand this warning sign. If the activity stops being something that only happens around you and starts affecting you, your sleep, emotions, relationships, health, peace, or how people in the house treat each other, stop treating it like a spooky inconvenience. Because that's no longer, oh, the door moved. That's something in this house is starting to change how we feel, sleep, and act. And that's not something you should handle alone because you watched one exorcism movie and suddenly feel qualified. A lot of people wait until things get extreme before asking for help. But by then, the whole house may already be exhausted. People are fighting, nobody's sleeping, someone feels watched, and someone else feels crazy because nobody believes them. And now fear is basically renting a room and paying no bills. That's why fighting alone is dangerous. It wants you alone, scared, obsessed, angry, and tired, because tired, scared, and desperate people make bad decisions. And demons are patient. It doesn't need to destroy everything in one night. It can wear a household down one piece at a time, like a toxic ex with unlimited rollover minutes. And if you've dealt with one of those, first of all, I'm sorry. And second, you already know what I'm talking about. They wear you down, make you doubt yourself, make you feel alone, and then act like you're the problem. So get help early, not when the house is already in full paranormal circus mode, not when people are being hurt, not when someone is hearing commands, early. And be careful who you bring in. Not every paranormal team is equipped for darker cases. Some people want evidence, some want views, some provoke activity because it makes good content. They come in, stir everything up, capture a few creepy clips, and leave you with the mess. No, ma'am. You need someone serious, calm, someone who rules out normal causes, who doesn't scream demon for drama, someone who knows when to involve clergy, spiritual leaders, mental health professionals, or medical professionals. Now remember, mistake number 1 gives it attention. Mistake number 2 gives it energy, but mistake number 3 gives it time. And this is the one people ignore the longest. Now, before we get into mistake number 3, hit that like button if you're learning something and subscribe for more paranormal breakdowns like this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced something that felt darker than a regular haunting? Not just my door made a noise dark, but like dark, dark. I mean, something intelligent, something heavy, something that made you go, oh boy, this house has a huge problem and it's not the mortgage. Drop it below because y'all know I read your stories, and sometimes your comments scare me worse than the videos I watch. Okay, let's keep going. Mistake number 3 is ignoring the warning signs until it escalates. This mistake is dangerous because it starts quietly. By the time you realize it's a pattern, you may already be too far in and you've been living with it for so long, it seems normal. The first knock, you think it's the house settling. The first nightmare, you blame stress. The first time your dog growls at the hallway, you think it heard something outside. The first time something goes missing and shows up somewhere weird, you think you misplaced it. The first time you hear your name, you think you imagined it. And maybe you did, once. But once is not the problem. Patterns are the problem. 1 nightmare can be stress. 3 nightmares with the same figure standing in the same corner. Now, it's getting freaky. When the same patterns repeat, when multiple people in the house experience things, when it responds to emotions, gets worse at certain times, follows certain people, or the house starts feeling heavy, you need to be paying attention. Because escalation is one of the biggest warning signs. A normal old house doesn't learn your name. A draft doesn't mimic your mother's voice. Bad plumbing doesn't scratch 3 lines down your back. A raccoon in the attic doesn't whisper from the basement and then show up in your dreams. Unless that raccoon is extremely advanced, in which case, honestly, move anyway. But seriously, seriously. Don't ignore patterns because you're scared of what they might mean. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Sometimes it gives it more time. So let's talk about the warning signs people shouldn't brush off. First, mimicry. If something in your house starts sounding like someone you know, don't answer it. Don't follow it. Don't start wandering through the house saying, hello? That's how horror movies collect dead cast members. If your child is asleep in bed and you hear your child's voice whisper mom from the basement, nope, you check on your child. Yes, but don't go down into the basement like, sweetie, are you down there? No, sweetie is asleep. Whatever's in the basement is not sweetie. Mimicry is bait. It's meant to pull you in emotionally before you think logically. And answering is engagement. Second, hearing your name. If you repeatedly hear your name whispered from empty rooms, especially with other activity, don't answer. Don't go looking for it with one sock on and your phone flashlight like you have a tactical plan. It's not. Sometimes the voice isn't the point. The point is getting you to respond. Third, smells. Rotten eggs, sulfur, burning, decay. Something sour, dead, or disgusting that appears suddenly and disappears suddenly. Y'all, I hate this one. Ew. Now again, check real causes first. Gas leaks can smell like rotten eggs. Electrical problems can smell burnt. Dead animals can smell awful. Be smart. Safety first. But if there's no physical source, and the smell shows up with knocks, shadows, growling, nightmares, scratches, or sudden temperature drops, that's a red flag. Fourth, emotional changes in the house. If everyone suddenly feels angry, hopeless, tired, paranoid, or like they cannot stand each other, pay attention. Families fight, couples fight, roommates fight. That's normal. But if the entire atmosphere changes, and people who normally love each other start tearing each other apart while activity is escalating, that's a clear sign. Darker activity is often said to divide people. One person sees things, another person doesn't believe them. One person is terrified, another person is angry, one person wants help, another person says they're crazy. Now the house is full of fear, resentment, shame, and isolation. And if something feeds off negative energy, congratulations, you just gave it an all-you-can-eat buffet. Fifth, sleep disturbance, nightmares, sleep paralysis, waking up at the same time every night, feeling watched, hearing footsteps, feeling pressure on your chest, feeling something touch your hair, feet, or back, waking up exhausted even after sleeping. This is serious because when you stop sleeping, everything gets worse. Your mood gets worse, your judgment gets worse, your fear gets worse. Suddenly you're crying over a spoon in the sink and wondering if the hallway shadow has a personal vendetta. If activity happens mostly at night, especially around the bed, that's a serious problem. And yes, people always ask about 3 a.m. Different traditions have different beliefs about that. We'll get into this topic in an upcoming video, but I am less concerned with the exact time and more concerned with the pattern. If you wake up every night at the same time feeling dread, hearing something, seeing something, or smelling something, document it. That pattern is important. 6. Physical marks, scratches, bruises, burning sensations, handprints, feeling pushed, hair being pulled, being touched when no one is there. If people are being physically harmed, that's no longer just spooky. That's a safety issue. And if you wake up with 3 scratches, especially if it happens repeatedly with other activity, that's something many people associate with demonic cases because of the idea of mocking the Holy Trinity. Does that automatically prove demon? No. Would I ignore it? Hell no. And finally, obsession. Sometimes people become obsessed with the haunting. They're terrified, but they keep feeding it. They film every night. They live stream every noise. They ask for bigger signs. They provoke because the last video did well. And at that point, whether they realize it or not, they're not trying to get rid of it anymore. They're participating in it. And y'all, that's dangerous. Because if you truly believe something demonic is in your home, the goal shouldn't be video content. The goal should be safety. Don't let the internet pressure you into staying in a dangerous situation, because people want proof. Your peace is more important than proving something to strangers. Your family is more important than footage. Your safety is more important than a viral clip. So if you recognize these warning signs, what do? Stay calm, stop engaging, document without feeding it. Rule out normal causes, get help, and protect the emotional environment of the home. Because ignoring warning signs doesn't protect you. It only gives the situation more time to grow. Now, here's what I want you to remember. Even if you forget everything else, demonic activity doesn't always win by being loud. It wins by being invited, by being answered, by being obsessed over. It wins by getting access. And 3 deadly mistakes you may be making: talking to it, trying to fight it alone, and ignoring the warning signs. And what do they all have in common? Access. When you talk to it, you give it attention. When you fight it recklessly, you give it energy. When you ignore the signs, you give it time. Demonic activity, if that's truly what you're dealing with, isn't random spooky chaos. It's strategic. It studies what scares you, who is vulnerable, what voices you'll answer, what makes you angry, what makes you cry. and then it uses those things. So don't invite it. Don't egg it on. Don't ask it to prove itself. Fear, panic, and obsessing isn't protection. Remember, the goal is awareness, because the scariest mistake isn't believing demons exist, it's thinking you can control them. So don't invite them to family dinner or open the door. And for the love of everything spooky and holy, put the damn Ouija board down. All right, my friends, that's it for today's video. If you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and bang on that bell notification so you'll know every time I post a new spooky video. And tell me in the comments, which mistake do you think is the most dangerous? Talking to it, trying to fight it alone, or ignoring the signs? And if you've ever dealt with something that mimicked a voice, knocked on a door, scratched you, followed you home, or made your house feel heavy, drop your story below. Stay safe out there, spooky lovers. Remember, don't talk to things in the dark. Don't answer voices from empty rooms. Don't open doors you don't know how to close. And I'll see you in the next nightmare.